I want you all to welcome my very, very special friend, business partner, thought leader, highly imaginative person, Trini, most important. You know what I mean? His name is Anthony Phils, and he's a multiple award-winning stack designer. And he's the one whose ideation of the app Unbreakable has won two globally recognized awards so far, and we intend to win some more. And I'm very fortunate to be on the team as the sound designer and also the composer for the mobile app that is free on iOS. So the very first thing I want to ask Anthony is, what is it a stack designer? What does that entail? What does that mean?
Well, today, stack designer is just that someone who does multiple things in the design world all in one. You could do a little bit of programming, you could do a little bit of industrial design, all different types of design platforms,
Yeah.
and deliver a solution. That's what it is. For me, I don't even think of myself as a stack designer. I just think of myself as a creative. And these are just the tools I use to deliver the message. That's it. That's for me what it is.
Understood. You're gonna hear some noise in the background. They have stuff going on.
Okay.
So we'll just ignore that noise.
Yeah.
Um, so what I mean, you're a highly imaginative person. I know from experience. I've been doing stuff with you since 2013,
Yeah.
non-stop, which is always a good thing. And I was just telling a class that I did a presentation yesterday about
Right.
relationships and relationships are more important than skills. You and I haven't seen each other in the same physical space since 2013. We are thousands of miles apart.
Right.
But yes, we talk every week and we crank out really world renowned stuff. You know what I mean? So relationships are always important. But what drew you to designing and creating, you know, stuff for mobile applications? Because this is not your first mobile application.
No, it's not. What drew me to design was that as a child, as a young child, I always used to design. I always used to draw, and I used to draw tanks. That's what I used to draw a lot of tanks. So you would think that I would go in industrial design and draw and build tanks, but not. But the design was drawn to me, graphics, because my first company, because I got my first company like I was like 17 years old. I had my first company, and it was an advertising company, and I converted it from an advertising to a design company, and then I just started designing from there, all kinds of things, and it just keeps me going. It's there's nothing like seeing your idea come to life,
Yeah.
if it is in a 2D form or a 3D form.
Mm.
There's nothing like it. So that's what kind of drew me to design. It was advertising.
This
Mhm.
app that we've created, Unbreakable.
Yeah.
I mean, I have, of course, a good idea of why you named it, but the public may not know why. Why did you name the app Unbreakable?
Well, one second. We were actually talking about that when we first started the journey, because it wasn't called Unbreakable at the beginning. I forgot what we called it. We had another name for it. But first we were dealing with night. Remember, we were working on night,
Correct.
and we did the augmented reality for night. So you when you put the phone over the book, you see night. That
Correct.
was the first thing we did.
Say what again? I dare you. Night.
Then we decided, we talked about it. We said, hey, listen, let's build a smaller version of this journey to show what we can do. So then after we started building it, and I think at some point we decided to call it Unbreakable because of their spirits was unbreakable when they were doing the journey. Even though everything bad happened to them, they still were able to come out and be prosperous in certain ways. So I think that was why we called it Unbreakable. But that was one of those moments also when I was designing the brand for it, where you have that the head in the center of the logo
Yeah.
of the text Unbreakable,
Yeah.
is that it's for anybody could be there. You know what I mean? Any one of us can be unbreakable, opposed to it's just to one person. No, it's about a nation, about people who persevere through stuff. Yeah,
That's really
that's
cool.
that's
But I
yeah.
know, of course, the app deals specifically with the last slave ship, the Cotilda, that came to the United States, and of course Cujo,
Yeah,
one of the slaves
yeah.
that came from that ship. So it deals with this particular part of Black history, and you're dealing
Mhm.
with the newest in technologies, which is augmented reality. But I know we could deal with VR, but this one specifically for AR, augmented reality. Why do you think that um, Black history in particular should be portrayed through augmented reality?
Oh, why? Well, I think all history should be done this way, because I think we were ahead of the curve when it came to this whole telling a story through AR in this format where it's life size. And the reason why I think so is because there's a whole difference between reading a book and seeing something pop up in front of you. When you can actually walk up to a unit, walk up to a statue, touch it, hit a button on your screen and start reading information and listening to stuff coming to you, that's a totally different experience. And I think that when we first started out, when we started working on the project, because remember that took us 6 months to do, right?
Correct.
The mere fact that we were able to we got the right historians and whatnot to gather the right information, so that we didn't tell our perspective, we told what it was really like, and we're able to show it. I think that's been, I think, it was a game breaker, and I think people weren't ready for it. Everybody was talking about, hey, we got virtual. No, you got a video, a VR video. That's all you have. You don't have augmented, right? And I think that we really pushed the envelope to get them there, especially with what we're talking about. Because remember, we were going to be doing night, right?
Correct.
Action hero. But
Correct.
then after we said, hey, listen, let's take a topic, focus really in on one specific part of it, and tell that story. And I think that we did a great job between the audio and the visuals together to deliver a solution. I think we did a great job. But I would also like to say, and I want you to share that content. Is the video? Is our test that we did before, because it was never going to be just the one guy. It was actually going to be the slave ship. Remember, we did the test.
That's right.
Yeah. So we were actually testing out a bigger way to do it. But imagine, this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, already.
Yeah, already 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years ago, we started the journey to say, hey, listen, this is what could be done. It's just that the phones and stuff weren't ready. But now, after the pandemic, a lot of people have upgraded, so you can deliver stuff more. And now that I'm doing some work in other fields, being able to stream AR content, it's going to be easier coming up soon. And I think with our new stuff that we're working on,
that's right.
I think people would see the difference. They'll be stunned.
Yeah, not. Whoa! But you can tell the rain is gonna fall. God
Like,
knows
what?
we're right.
Yeah, just at the right moment. I love it. I love it.
No. The thing about it is that we're doing this. We're innovating. We're creating. We're pushing the envelope. Sometimes I swear we're taking the envelope and actually ripping it apart, because like they say in the Matrix, there's no spoon kind of scenario. So
Yes.
we're sitting down and we're doing this, and it's needed. That's the thing I want people to realize, that these kind of applications to accurate historical facts are needed in today's schools. Yeah.
Mhm. Right. But 1 second,
yeah.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
Add one thing? Is that, yes, we did innovation with the AR stuff, but even just what it was like 2 weeks ago, was a little over 2 weeks ago, we did the AI. Remember, we did the
Correct.
AI for the playbill.
That's right.
That was a first. Now, I think that we're taking the technology and spinning it for things that are not usually designed for. A playbill is not something people are going, I'm going to take time and do a playbill. No, but we took the time to come up with a solution to help artists and to help the visually impaired when they go to a show now, that they can hear that playbill. And I think because after the show, the guy who because it had the disabled guy who couldn't see,
Right.
he said thank you for that. He thanked you to say, hey,
Whoa.
thank you for taking the time to do that, because he knows that it's a costly thing to do.
Mm.
But the thing is that if we don't figure out a process and make it easy, then after nobody's going to do it. And I think that the mere fact that we just said, hey, look, we took it on as a challenge, I
Right.
think we did really, really good.
And since you did mention artists, certain artists endorsed Unbreakable, namely Janet Jackson. How did she come into play, and and how did that help, for want of a better word, make the value of what we're doing more real to the public?
Well, okay, so JJ is my good friend. Janet is my good friend, and as I go through this journey of designing and doing things, I've been sharing with her all the time. So there's a lot of text messaging back and forth, showing her this, showing her that, and which way to go, getting her opinion, because she's a great marketer, right? And she knows how to get attention. And that was one of the things that she helped me with, what to say in the context, and how to go with the imagery. So that's how come she's given me some props, and being able to say, hey JJ, look at what we did. It was really good. I was more surprised to see it happen, because I wasn't expecting it, because I don't go out and ask my entertainment friends, hey, can you go promote my stuff? The mere fact that she did that, I thought it was just great. It was just like, hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, and she put it on blast on social media on multiple platforms, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was really grateful to see that, especially for something this is important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. It's so funny. I was over at Apple, and it was just like, Janet. It's just like, yeah, I know Janet.
Now, Trinidad, the usual land of sunshine and sand and sea when rainy season. So if you're hearing some noise right now, after that thunder that just happened, yeah, well, the rain is here, so more endorsement, you know. But
Yes.
while we're here, just a couple more questions.
Sure.
I see, of course, you have the Anthem Awards, the Anthem Award behind you.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
Yes. Here you go. Put it in the camera. Let people see it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes,
So
we got that.
yeah, and this is
Yeah.
from, of course, when we won from the inaugural Anthem Award last year, and
Yeah.
and I was trying to embed it in the students yesterday. Winning this is a big deal, that it is a subsidiary of the Webbies, which is like the Academy Awards for web design, coding, everything like that. In tech world, a Webby is a big deal, and then this is also a big deal because even though it's a subsidiary, it's dealing with things like human rights,
Right.
education, agriculture, things like that. So
Uh-huh.
what does winning this award mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to us, right? Not just to me. It's just our team, right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that we're innovator, and we're pushing the envelope. And I think that as we grow and do new things, being able to say, hey, listen, we were the first, because I'd have to say the majority of the times we are the first to do something. And people will realize it, and I guess people will come hang out with us more, and hopefully banks and museums and different places will come to us and say, okay guys, can you come and do something innovative for us or different, to help us be aware. Because I have to say that being able to tell that particular story, and it was a difficult story. It's not one of those easy stories that people are just going to embrace. It was a difficult story. To tell any other story, I think it'll be much easier to tell that story.
Yeah.
And plus, this also kind of launched us in this area to share more and to have people take a little bit more time to look at culture and say how can we deliver it, because now in our educational systems they stop doing social studies and stuff like that. They keep cutting it out. So how are kids going to learn about this stuff? They're not. If they don't Google it, then they won't find out. But if we could put it in an app or in a piece of application that they can enjoy with their parents, because now think about it, a parent can actually go through this journey with the child, right? It's just like the two of them could look at it at home, or they can go to the museum and look at it, or they can go to a national museum or a national monument and engage with it. The same way we have Unbreakable down in Trinidad. Remember, it's outside at the Red House.
That's right.
So people don't know that, but it's there. You know what I mean? So we can do anything, and I think that's what I really love about our journey is we're constantly trying to push the envelope, but also share what we're doing. But okay, continue. Sorry, because I could talk forever on this.
It's all good. It's all good. Now, just a couple more questions in terms of the app. I mean, we did mention the slave ship earlier in the interview, but what other plans do we have for the app? Whatever developments you think we could put on this app?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm still working on the back end with stuff, and we're getting closer because now the educational system knows about us. Because remember, we have the Blooming Zennies, that group that we're with, right? That we're heading up tech for them. So the Blooming Zennies is starting to get traction, and I think that's where we're going to actually show what's next, because they're focused on the content, and we're going to be focused on helping them deliver that content. So there's a lot in the educational space that we're getting close to. I'm hoping that we can get there sooner, but the education is just one of those industries that just takes a little while to come around. And especially now you're hearing it in the US, they're cutting this out, cutting that out and whatnot. So it's getting a little more difficult, but I believe that we will be able to deliver something. And the funny thing is that it's going to be along the lines of what we did for Unbreakable, because people still haven't done it.
Yeah.
They haven't done that part of it. And I think for us as creators, we have to figure out a way to build a tool that helps other creators deliver that message. So that's one thing. The other thing is that we are actually working on a, how can I say it without giving it away?
Without giving away too much.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to say, well, okay. So I don't know. I just got certified in AI, right, from the University of Berkeley, and I've actually worked on like my first project at the beginning of the year, but now I'm working on 2 projects, and I think the second project, which is in the field of biographies, is going to be huge. I feel it. We're close to having a prototype done, but I think that's where design, AI, music all comes together to give somebody an experience that's going to be outstanding. So that's as much as I could say about that. But we have, there's a lot of stuff in the fire. A lot of stuff in the fire.
Final question: are there any words of advice for up and coming stack designers?
Well, okay. First, one, stack designers, no. Creators, right? That would be my first thing. It's like, it's not about stack designer, because right now, being a designer, you don't even have to go to school anymore, and you could be a designer, right? Because as long as you can tell a story, and I think that would be my words of advice. Work on being able to tell a concise story. 2, work on relationships, because that's going to be the tool. What's that saying? If you want to do something, do it by yourself. If you want to go far, go with someone.
Yeah.
So that's where the relationship comes in. And three is constantly keep learning. Just keep learning, because if you don't, then after you fall to the side. So those would be my three things for someone to. If I was giving you some advice, it'll be those things, because this is exactly what me and you do, right?
Correct.
We
Correct.
we keep on learning. We work on telling a story. I do it through design. You do it through sound, and through our relationship, we're able to put it together and give that to the world. So I think those would be the things that I would recommend. And the thing is that these are things that are free. It's free, so nobody can say to me, "Oh, I don't have money to do this, or I can't go to this school." No, it's free. You can tomorrow morning you can wake up and be a designer. Now, I'm not saying that you're gonna be a great designer. You can be a designer, right? You can be a designer. Yes, you can make sound, but are you gonna really make sounds? It's like, yeah, you can make music. Everybody does it because we see the billboards. But the thing is, it's telling that story, that little technique. So I learned these things from you, because one of the things that you did. Remember when you did the podcast for night? Because remember, that's another thing that we got.
Yeah.
We didn't win the award, but we got nominated, right? Yeah. Because we did a podcast totally different for a book, right? Now, some of those techniques that you did in that night podcast, I actually use in Mio, because I do this artist called Mio. I do these short little 15-second trailers for her, right? But it's just like little, when I say little things, it's little things like when she's about to give a punchline, I have a little build, boom, and then after she says the punchline. Now, do I have it down pat? No, but I know that I heard the technique. I listened to what you've done, and I could throw it in there. I guess maybe after a couple of times of doing it, I'll get better. But the thing is that I realized this is where it comes from. We learn back and forth from each other, and take a little here, take a little there. So I'm able to apply it. But yeah, I'm a chatty cat.
It's all good, Anthony. And we're running actually very good on time. So I would like to thank you so much for this, as you know, and for people. I will tell you what's going on. I want to put this out as a separate entity as well, and also have it also in the blog as well.
Okay.
Right?
No problem. Just send me the link and I'll put it on blast.
So, you know how I roll. You know how I roll.
Explore. Seeking fertile land plus gold and ivory, Europeans began exploring the African coasts. They also hoped to find labor to work on their plantations. Along Ghana's Gold Coast stands Elmina Castle, where the horrific slave journey began. The hunt. The Europeans executed slave raids, often with the help of other Africans, to find and capture their victims. Victims were captured in Ghana, then marched to Elmina Castle, where they were held, sometimes for months, separated from their families, before being shipped off to America or the Caribbean. Torture. Upon arrival at the trading post, slaves were tortured. They were promptly fitted for metal neck collars with spikes to prevent escape. They were then packed into dungeons, sometimes thousands in spaces intended for only a couple hundred, and held with minimal sunlight and food. Oftentimes, slaves were held in these horrific conditions for months before being shipped off. The journey. Once the slaves passed through the door of no return, they were put onto boats and loaded onto slave ships like cargo. They'd never see their homes again. Most were separated from their families. The journey to America was treacherous. During this middle passage, many Africans died due to the poor conditions on the ships. The new land. In America, the Africans were processed and sold to plantations and shipped to different parts of the developing country. It would be 400 years before they would be emancipated on January 1st, 1863. In America, the Africans were processed and sold to plantations and shipped to different parts of the developing country. It would be 400 years before they would be emancipated.